We are back.
We are live, dude. Yeah, so how you been, man?
I mean, I've been better, Lucas.
Yeah, are you still struggling with the effects of fucking snowpocalypse?
Not really any present things. But yeah, Texas is kind of infamous. I'm sure everyone listening to this podcast knows. We had a whole energy and water problem. And for me, at least, it wasn't bad at all. Like, I only lost power for 14 hours and I only lost water for like 3 days, which is...
That's still a lot, dude. No
Yeah.
water for 3 days is fucking crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, but of everyone I've talked to, all my friends and everyone, out of everyone, it seems like I've had the least amount of issues.
I think you're right. I didn't have water for a week, and I didn't have power for 4 days. So it's weird coming back to the apartment and you have power, but you still don't have water, and you're like, "What the?"
Yeah, I was about to say,
it's
you
still not
don't
livable.
have water over there.
Well, we do, man. So we were supposed to wait 3 weeks to get a plumber out here. Like, that's how fucked Texas is right now. Like, not just like how booked up all plumbers are, even like the shitty ones.
Yeah.
But also materials. Like, there's no fucking pipes. Everyone's buying all the pipes and the
Yeah, right.
you know, all the hardware that they need and shit. So yeah, so like we were gonna wait 3 weeks and live with my sister for 3 weeks, waiting for our water to get turned back on. And then like 2 days later, our property manager texted me and said, "Hey, water's back on. You're good. You can come back." And I was like, "What the fuck changed?" And he said that somehow someone that is related or owns one of the apartments in this complex, we know someone who's a master plumber. And
okay.
that guy came out and fixed like 20 something leaks that we had in the whole complex all by himself. So whenever I got that note from my property manager, I was so skeptical. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that we're going to go back to the apartment and there's not going to be a problem. Like,
Yeah.
a commercial plumbing company said, "We don't have the manpower to fucking fix this. You need to call someone else." So then one dude comes around and says like, "Yeah, I'll fix it all," and just does it all in 2 days. And like, there's still holes in the walls. There's still like, the carport has fucking insulation all over the place, like wet insulation. And it's like, he supposedly fixed all the pipes, but isn't cleaning up anything. And this is just kind of what our place is going to look like until everyone I've talked to in this complex is moving.
Really?
Everyone is like, "Fuck this place." Like,
Oh my God.
because the way that this complex is, it's condos essentially that are owned by people that rent them out or they buy it. Like one of the apartments right next door to us sold for $300,000. So like, these are nice, quote unquote, nice condos
Yeah.
that are owned by people and they rent them out. So everyone that lives in my building is renting from a landlord that owns this apartment. And my landlord has been awesome through this whole thing. He took money off of our rent because I asked him to, but I said, "Hey, our apartment's not livable. We shouldn't be expected to pay rent for a place that we can't even live at right now."
Yeah.
And so he took $300 off our rent. He has been really communicative, really apologetic.
Wow.
I mean, he fucking bought us Tiff's treats when we first moved in. Just like "Hey, welcome." Like, they're super, super nice. And they don't even live here. They live in Dallas.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I've heard nothing but horror stories from the other apartments of just like, we didn't hear from our landlord for days. We had no idea what was happening. We were in our apartment about to go to our gym to shower, and all of a sudden the water turns on and we hear all these banging and all this pipes and all this stuff. They had no idea that the repairs were getting done. It's been a fucking shit show, dude.
Jeez, man. Well, I'm glad you compared to everyone else, you got out.
Yeah. It's weird how quickly it changed. Like, we had it the worst out of anyone that we knew during the week that everything was happening. And then we also have had it the best since then of pretty much everyone that we know. Because my sister lives an hour north of here in a fucking suburb that they didn't deal with any issues. And yeah, we've been there for a week and a half and it's been fucking awesome.
Well,
All right, get Winston in here. It never fails, man. He does it every time.
30 seconds ago. Winston. Come on. Winston.
Oh man.
I always want to say something about Brett while he steps away from the mic. He's not wearing his headphones. I can't, on the spot, I can't think of anything. It's hard to think of anything on the spot, y'all.
Yo, I got a Beaux story for you once you're done telling me the struggles you've been dealing with after snowpocalypse.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really affected me, man. It's really affected like how I think about things now, you know, because it was not really that big of a deal. And I do think, you know, there were stories of people who froze to death.
Yeah, man.
And that's just horrible.
Carbon
but
monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
Really sad.
Horrible electrical bills. People getting 5-digit electrical bills.
Yep.
I've heard about that.
Just for being lucky enough to have electricity while this was going on. Yeah. Then they spiked the rates like crazy, and now people are owing $15,000 for 4 days worth of electricity.
And so like all that, and listening to all my friends' stories and what they've all gone through, and like just experiencing what it's like to not have power, if only for 14 hours, and like what our government did for us, right? What our state did for us, which is just squat.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Like, and you're probably feeling the same way I am, like abandoned. We felt abandoned.
And you know, those pictures of crews getting on the flight to Cancun.
Motherfucker, man.
And I don't know, man. Like, it's just really,
it's fucking with you mentally.
Yeah, it's just kind of messing with me. It like my perception of everything is kind of changing because of this event, as small as it kind of is. You know, like it might happen next year, and you know, now climate change is becoming a much more present issue, a much more you know, thing that's right in front of us that you can't really ignore any longer. Yeah, because we haven't had like snow. We haven't had snow like this since 1949, I believe, or maybe 45.
I believe it. I've never seen it. I've never seen weather like this in Texas, and I've lived here for almost 30 years.
And it's, you know, my friend said it was the polar winds, the ring of air that protects us from the ice cold winds just kind of gave way for a while, and that's what happened. That's why we got this cold front. And no one's to say that it's not going to happen next year, in the year after that, and
it'll probably become more normal.
I don't know if we're going to be any more prepared next year, you know. And
yeah,
I don't know. It just kind of makes you remember what is really important in your life, and you kind of stop thinking about other things.
Yeah, man, it's very like you don't know what you have till it's gone, and it's really easy to take something like running water and electricity and heat for granted when it has been guaranteed up until the moment we needed it the most. I think that was the hardest part for me to deal with, is the moment that we needed electricity and water the most was the moment that we lost it because the people in charge didn't prepare properly. Yeah. And it does realize that we are at the fucking whimsy of the politicians that we keep fucking voting into office. And this is how the local elections start to matter a lot more now. Like our governor, our senators, our mayors, you know, the city hall, all these people did not prepare for what was going to happen, and they knew what was going to happen, and it was all in the name of deregulation. It was all in the name of, we don't want to be, you know, part of the federal reserve system for electricity and for utilities and all this stuff. And Texas wants to be independent. Texas wants to do their own thing, and people died because of the lack of leadership. And so it has been an eye opener, just like you know, the mishandling of BLM last year was an eye opener, just like The last 4 years have been an eye opener.
It's
just like the mishandling of COVID has been an eye opener.
These last 2 years, if these last 2 years doesn't change your perspective about something going on with our government, then I don't know what will. You know, and I was never I was never like an anarchist or like a oh, I'm going to be a communist or, you know, anything like that. But it's, you know, this is the stuff that opens your eyes, these real events, the reason that we have these systems built, and just seeing that it's really not for the people. This system that we've made is not for the people that it's supposed to be for.
No, it is only benefiting the politicians.
Yeah.
And big business, right? So
I mean, the politicians, the people with the money. It's just the people with the money, the people who have the power.
Yeah, and that's all the politicians are bending over for, just people with the money, because they want to make money.
Yeah, and that's why in these last 2 years, when the pandemic hit, the rich got richer, and the poor, it got poorer. You know, even when our economy was just in the dumps, you know, Amazon still made billions of dollars. All these big companies still make billions and billions of dollars, while the rest of us are struggling to get by. But I mean, we could talk about this for a long time, but I'd much rather get into some more chipper, lighthearted stuff like albums and your Beaux story.
Yeah, man. Yeah. This is probably going to be something that is going to be on our minds for a while. So no need to take up time on the podcast for it. We could talk about it before our D&D game and interrupt that for an hour.
That'll be a whole Luis spotlight. If we ever get Luis on this podcast, he's probably not going to talk a lot unless we bring up some politics, because he knows all about that stuff.
He's been chomping at the bit for something like this to happen so he can rail on every fucking politician and everything that this country is doing wrong. I mean, yeah, man, it's been difficult these last couple of weeks, and I think it's understandable for a lot of people to have PTSD in a way. Not to diminish what PTSD is, but I feel like a lot of people dealt with very scary situations, and I'm personally also struggling moving on with my life, like just going back to work and being like, all right, let's have a meeting about leads. And I'm just like, wow, like last week I didn't know if I was gonna make it after, at certain moments, and I'm just like, I'm supposed to come back and just like be in a meeting and act like everything's okay. I know a lot of people I know are struggling with the same thing. But you really don't know. You really don't know when. You don't know what tomorrow's going to be like. Like my sister's fiance. So I don't know what he makes me. My fiance in law. He has a saying that he says, whenever you're talking about, whenever you're doing something and you're talking about what we're going to do next, like, oh, tomorrow we need to do this, or for dinner we're going to go to this restaurant. And the way that he thinks about it, he goes, hey man, we're having lunch now. Like, we don't know what's going to happen between now and dinner. Like, let's not assume that it's going to, you can make a plan, but don't assume that it's going to go the way that you planned. Because it's just like, nothing's guaranteed. And it's true. Like, so a week ago, I was, in Christina's cousin's apartment, dealing with being scared for going to someone's apartment after a year of avoiding people because of COVID. Yeah. And, not really knowing how careful these people have been, not knowing how much danger I'm putting myself in, but literally having no choice because it's either don't have water or risk getting COVID. And there was a clear fucking winner for that for me. So
and
thankfully...
Also, like, I don't know if people know this, but there was nothing at the grocery stores. As soon as this started happening, people looted the grocery stores. You can't find water. You could barely find food. Even the candy and the sodas were all... people took all of those for some reason. But, like, that's why it was so scary, is because we don't, like... You don't have any running water, and you can't go out and buy anything, even at the places that are open.
Right. And even if you do have running water, you have to also have electricity or at least gas to be able to boil it, because then there was a boil notice with our water because the water treatment plants didn't have enough electricity to actually fucking treat the water. Yeah. So a week ago, I was sitting there with a whole bunch of shit going through my head, not knowing what life was going to be like moving forward. And then a week later, I'm like sitting in my sister's really nice house, super comfortable, making dinner every night with them, drinking margaritas. Like, it's been a vacation staying at my sister's place. And then because I was staying at my sister's place, she had the fucking 411 on when vaccine appointments were going to open up. And we all just got our first doses of the COVID vaccine.
Oh, really?
I got mine on Friday. Christina got hers on Friday. And my sister and her fiance both got theirs on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So within a week of me being like, dude, my apartment is going to be ruined. My fucking roof is going to cave in. I'm going to get COVID. A week later, I got the COVID vaccine. And so in a month, I'm going to be totally vaccinated. And it's fucking that saying that my sister's fiance has been saying for the last week since we got there. It just like really is like going around in my head that it's like, you really don't know what dinner is going to bring. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So it's like, it kind of helps me not dwell and not worry on things a little bit when it's just like nothing's guaranteed. So all I can do is try and make this the best I can make it. So that's something I definitely want to like try and focus on, while also realizing like I need to start figuring out how to get off the fucking grid and start being able to provide for myself. Like, I've never wanted to move to a farm in fucking Wyoming more than I have in the last year. And especially in the last 2 weeks, I'm just like, I need a well, I need a windmill, I need generators, and I need land, and I need a farm. I'm like, these 5 fucking things, I'm just like, I need to have my own cattle, I need to grow my own food. I'm like, I can't rely on the people in charge anymore.
And so your first step towards that is moving to California.
Moving to Cali, baby. Because that's still in the fucking plans.
Moving to friggin' the opposite, I'd say, of a farm.
Yeah, and you know, we're going from potential snow and rain and electricity and all that shit to fires and earthquakes. So
yeah,
that'll be fun.
Another thing to mess with. But again, as you were saying, you know, aside from politicians, maybe we should stay in the present. Kind of keep our minds in the present, prepare for the future. You know, obviously, like make preparations, but don't obsess yourself with what may or may not happen. Again, this does not apply to politicians. Y'all should be looking towards the future.
Don't stop paying attention.
You should have had the electrical grid and water figured out for this storm.
Yeah. For the folks that we are not, for the you know, regular people like us, like, pay attention to what the people in charge are doing, but dwelling on it, I feel like, is not gonna help at all.
Especially for things that you really don't have a lot of power to change.
Yeah, right? And it's a shitty feeling not having the power to change it, but
yeah,
you should empower yourself by finding the things that you can control and the things that you can impact and focusing on those. Because focusing on the things that are out of your control will just drive you fucking crazy. Which brings me to my Beaux story, because for those listening that don't know me, I have a 12-year-old basset hound named Beaux, who is the best dog in the world, and I hate him.
He is such an adorable little pile of garbage.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's dirty water trash that I just fucking love with all my heart.
You can tell he just has like a dirty Boston accent.
You know, it's funny because I always think he's like a princess that's reincarnated into a basset hound.
Really?
Yeah, because he gets a little sticker burn in his paw, and he'll stop walking and just look at me and lift his paw up and just be like, Daddy, when are you going to clean my paws?
I got the impression that he had like a cigarette in his mouth and he's like, hey, you do it for me. Hey, I want to go outside, open the door.
He's way too posh to be like a mob boss, fucking blue collar worker. Like, this dog deserves a fucking frilly lace neck, fucking shirt collar and white makeup all over his face.
And so you had to move Beaux to your sister's apartment.
So he's been traveling around.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been traveling around with us. First thing he did when he got to Christina's cousin's house was pee a lot in the kitchen. And then when we got to my sister's, my sister's dog has a very specific, special diet, and Beaux ate all of his food the first night that we were there. And then last night, He also finds a way to sneak out of a backyard that is impossible to sneak out of, but he finds ways. So last night, every time I don't see him for a couple minutes, I'm like, I'm going to go check that this motherfucker didn't Shawshank his way out of this fucking backyard. So I went to the backyard last night. I can't really see anything. I'm calling him. I can't see him. And there's little dark corners of the yard. And I'm like, God damn it. So I go to the front and I start walking up and down the street. I can't find him. I hear Christina go, he's here. And I go, okay. And then I go in there and I hear Christina goes, he's licking something. And I was like, what? And I run to the backyard and this fucking dog is licking a dead mouse. Like, just just slobbering and licking a dead, stiff mouse. And I'm just like, immediately I'm like, God damn it, he's going to have rabies. He's going to get mouse AIDS. He's going to fucking, like, he's going to start
get
vomiting. He's going to get some sort of STD that comes from a fucking field mouse. Like, immediately I was just like going through all this shit in my head of the worst things that could happen. And he's totally fine. But like after that happened, I was just like, God, it's so like how quickly I can forget. Like last week I didn't have water and electricity and all I could think about was keeping Beaux and Christina warm. And then this week I'm like, everything's back to normal. I have fucking all the things I would want and need to be able to live comfortably. And then Beaux licks a mouse. And I'm just like, and immediately I'm worried about something else, you know? And then that's consuming my thoughts. And I'm just like, man, how quickly things can fucking change. But thankfully that fucking idiot is fine, I think. So.
Well, I think it was John Lennon who said, life is the stuff that happens between plans.
Yeah.
Is that the quote? So life is the stuff that's just happening while you're planning for other things.
Yeah, exactly. Like life is the shit that you have to deal with, not the shit that you plan for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Planning is always so fucking, rose-colored glasses. But yeah, man, one thing that I also stopped doing was listening to albums of the day. So I'm like 2 weeks behind on that. But
yeah, well, I mean, it was like we were talking and you were like, oh man, I can't believe, like, if I don't have this episode edited by Monday and put out. And I was like, the whole time I was like, man, we're going through like a crisis. Like, it's fine. You don't you don't need to be doing albums of the day, every single day through a crisis like this. And you don't have to worry about, getting the podcast edited. Like, you got to put yourself before all that.
Yeah, it was almost like a thing I wanted to do though, because I wanted a distraction, but then I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. And it was like, even after we got to Christina's cousin's place and the second day we were there, I was like, middle of the day, we're not doing anything. There's nowhere to go. So I suggested watching a movie and everyone wanted to watch a movie except Christina. And then I asked her, I was like, hey, do you want to watch this movie? And she was like, no, I can't even imagine watching a movie right now. And she was just boiling water. She was cleaning stuff. She was like getting food together and all this stuff. And I was like, you can't imagine watching a movie? And she was like, y'all are acting like shit is normal right now. She was like, shit's not normal. We still need to prepare. We still need to figure this out. And all of us were kind of like shamed into like, oh, fuck, she's right. Like we wanted a little bit of normal just for a couple hours. But then all of us, like, we turned off the TV and then I started helping Christina. They started cleaning and doing all this stuff. And I kind of understood what she meant after a while, that it's just like, yeah, we shouldn't act like everything's back to normal. Like we all just went through some crazy shit and we're still going through it. I mean, last week, everyone was still dealing with boiling water, not having electricity, all that stuff. So like, yeah, it was kind of that mentality that I'm just like, man, I would really love to listen to an album today, but I feel like that's not allowing myself, that'd be a distraction, like I was saying. So it's like, I have to deal with the present and like be in it, not trying to escape it, So that was, so it fell to the wayside.
I honestly felt the exact same way, like I felt when the power shut off and all that. I, stored all the water in the bathtub, started boiling stuff and started, preserving, like rationing food, just in case. And when I finally got power back and I had water, I was playing this video game for a long time, trying to like 100% it, and Like I just like I suddenly felt like it really wasn't important anymore, or that just
Right.
like if I played it, it would just be a distraction from this thing that I'm trying not to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You
It
know,
felt
and
frivolous.
it felt like frivolous. It felt, I don't know, like it was just me in the house. It was just me and Winston, but it felt like uh what's the word? It just felt like not right. It just felt like if I did it, it would be insulting, I guess.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It would be like there are people still struggling, and I'm sitting here playing fucking Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and I felt that exact same way when Amazon opened its warehouse back up, and I was supposed to go over and just like carry boxes for them and deliver things for them while my friends didn't have any food or water. And it
Yeah.
just it was just weird.
Yeah, it's weird, like almost like a survivor's guilt in a weird way. Like I experienced that whenever we came back to the apartment and we heard like how our neighbors were still struggling, and we just had an out to be able to go to my sister's place.
Yeah, for sure.
But they didn't have this out. So we come back and realize like, oh man, you guys are still having sleepless nights and high stress and like panicking at points. And we were just like, wow, we've been so lucky to have a place to go. And it's just like, wow, we felt kind of bad that, we
Yeah.
felt like we had abandoned our neighbors a little bit. And it didn't feel good to be like, well, I've had a cold or, a hot shower and cold fucking ice water for the last week. I felt bad about it. Yeah. I haven't really been able to play video games. Tonight's going to be the first night. Like I'm literally taking today for myself, So like I came back to the apartment to do this. Like I've been so looking forward to fucking talking to you again. And
Aw.
so looking forward to being back at my apartment and just feeling normal life again. And so today was like for me. And Christina's so awesome that she's like, hey, I'll stay here. I'll watch the dog, go home, like play video games, fucking get high, hang out with your buds. And like, I'm not going to feel bad about it. God damn it.
Because even with all that, like, we need to remember why we're living,
We got to start living again, like life is what you make it, dude. And it's really easy to fucking curl up in a ball and just fucking be sad. It's way easier to be sad than it is to be happy. I've held on to that belief my whole life.
That's true.
And you really have to work at happiness. You have to try to be happy. Like the world doesn't care if you're happy.
Yeah.
And it's way easier to gravitate towards sad people because misery loves company, right? So like other people want others to be sad because they're sad. I want to feel like I'm not alone in this. You really do have to try and work to be happy and content. And that's part of what moving to California is, it's like we're trying to find our happiness and see where that takes us. So yeah. So it was really fun to listen to this album for this episode. And like, yeah, just been super excited to talk about it and super excited to hear what you thought about it. And I think if we need to do a quick intro, man, I think it's you should take the reins on that one and we can get into this shit.
Well, we're nearly half an hour in. I'm wondering if this first half is like should be a mini episode or something where we just talk about events and then we have.
I think this first half is a great check-in on what we have gone through, what we're dealing with. People who don't live in Texas, it's a little bit of an insight. I think it's good, man. People know that we were behind for a week because of everything that happened. So yeah. I think it's cool that we're talking about it, up front. We're dealing with it. We got to fucking talk about it. And then, hey, half an hour in, it's like our first episode. We're finally getting into the fucking album.
Well, you know what? I would love to do the intro for the show.
Just do it.
I mean, I kind of want to wait for the 30-minute mark, but I guess I'll do it now.
Should we just stall?
Hey, buds. Welcome back to Earbuds, the podcast, a show where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. Sorry, that was it. I totally stole that from Ear Biscuits, another podcast.
Ear Biscuits, ooh. A little too similar. We can't be stealing their intros if our fucking names are that close.
This is where two very good friends talk about very good albums for a very good amount of time.
Yeah, that's great.
We are the odd couple of podcasts. A lot of people give us that title. Adversely, a lot of other people on the other side of the line call us the pod couple of oddcasts.
Yeah, it's been a debate.
It's been going back and forth. It's something of a war, and we've just been the arms dealers, just kind of getting both sides to fight each other.
Yeah, either way, we win, man.
Either way, we win, baby. We get that clout. I am Brett Danger the Hanrahan. I've taken it upon myself to put the into my name.
Before your last name, which is the first I've heard.
Yeah.
Brett,
I'm hoping
the Hanrahan.
The Hanrahan. I'm hoping it catches on. And with me, as always, is Lucas, the Fuzzy Beast, Intergovs.
Intercars.
I was thinking about rearranging some letters on your name as well, just kind of switching it up.
Well, I liked it. What up, YouTube? It's Lucas, the Danger Fuzzy Man, Intergovs. I was hoping that you introduced me as Lucas Dwayne the Rock Johnson Intergovs, but there's always next episode. Yeah, that's
you got to earn that one. I still haven't seen you on the b-ball court. And that doesn't have anything to do with the Rock, but
no, but they do call basketball the Rock sometimes.
Yeah,
pass me the rock.
You told me you played it every single day in college. Like every single day you'd go play some b-ball. Yep. I've never seen your moves.
College and prison. Those are my peak basketball years. Dude, I played that's how I lost 100 pounds the first fucking time. So I'm having to do it again because I'm an asshole. But I played basketball like 3-4 hours a day, pretty much almost every day of the week. Lost 100 pounds doing it, but never got any better. I'm really good at passing, and I'm really good at defense.
Ooh, okay. You're on the support. You're like a support.
Yeah, I'm a facilitator. Yeah, I'm a facilitator. Like if you give me the ball, I'm chucking it because I can shoot relatively okay, but I can't don't expect me to drive into the lane. I played against my friend who is like 6'2", and he always guarded me for some reason.
Because it's such a satisfying feeling to block a shot.
He blocked me so many times that I stopped shooting the ball, and I just gave it to my buddy, who he happens to be black, but that's besides the fact. He's fucking great at basketball, so he was always on my team. And this dude could float. Like he was one of those dudes that he would jump up, and then you try and block it, and you'd be on the ground, and he'd still be up, and he'd get a second jump in midair. He got
a lot of hang time.
It was crazy, and so I loved him on my team because I would pass it to him, he'd make it, and we'd win. I don't think you're ever gonna see my moves, buddy.
That's literally unacceptable.
Maybe we can play some Skype basketball.
But I'll have
you can just watch me play.
I was voted valuable player in the YMCA basketball league that I was in. And
just valuable player, not most valuable player.
Well, every player got the award.
You were a VP.
We were all VPs. We were all valuable players to the team.
I love that. You were a valuable player. Everyone's a winner.
But right now, I want to just sink a 3-pointer talking about this album, man.
Dude,
because I'm excited.
Alley-oop. I'll
alley-oop it to you to introduce the album.
Ooh, baby. So today, buds, we're going to be talking about an album that was made by a supergroup, a punk supergroup to be exact. And it's members of the band called the Bronx, members of a little band called Social Distortion, of an unknown band called Suicide Machines, and another obscure no-name band called the Distillers.
Is it the Suicide Machines or Suicidal Tendencies?
Is it Suicidal Tendencies? No, it's Suicidal Tendencies. I'm sorry. An even more fucking unknown band. And yeah, so people from the Bronx, people from Distillers, Suicidal Tendencies, Social Distortion, Mariachi El Bronx, which is the Bronx's mariachi side project, which is fucking phenomenal. If y'all haven't heard it before, it's some of the best mariachi music. Yeah, this is a band called The Drips. The album is called Drips. They recorded it in 2006. It came out. The Bronx had only recorded 2 albums prior to this. And to think that 2 albums after being a band, you're in a supergroup already is kind of like a fuck you from me, because I'm just like, how did the Bronx played for 6 months before they got signed. Like these guys were just like, people knew immediately once they hit the scene, they got signed, they got labels, they got tours, and now they're in a supergroup less than 3 years after their first album came out.
That's well, you know what it was is that they started their own record label, right?
Was it right off the bat they started their own label, or did they get signed to something?
Their first album was on their record label.
Oh, well then that's cheating. If you sign yourself to your own label,
yeah, that's what I was about
after
to say.
6 months. Okay, well then that's a little different, because I was just like, first of all, fuck these guys for being so good, because the Bronx are one of my favorite punk bands of all time, and I didn't discover them until 2008 or something. And then I when I've looked into their story, I was like, oh, you guys played for 6 months in Huntington Beach and LA, and then you got signed, and then you've been touring, and I'm just like, who does that happen? That doesn't happen for anyone. But it makes sense. We made our own fucking label. Like, why rely on anyone else? God damn it.
I mean,
that's
still,
a great idea.
Making your own label in 6 months is also a pretty crazy thing to do. And releasing an album and on your label in 6 months, and just like, I don't know, these guys kind of made themselves a big deal.
Yeah. They just hit the ground running, man. Their first album is like classic to me, and I didn't know what the Drips were, who the Drips were, when I first heard this album last year. And then I looked into it because I was like, I recognize this fucking vocal. Like, really, this sounds like a Bronx record. I don't know if you've ever listened to the Bronx.
Only a couple tracks, no full records.
Okay, well, they're fantastic, like street skate punk that mixes a really cool mix of like hardcore punk, pop punk, and like skate punk. And it's just so well done. It's so catchy. Matt's vocals are fucking awesome. I love the way he sings. And when I heard this, I was just like, dude, this has to be the dude from the Bronx. This has to be the Bronx, just with a different name, because it sounds like a Bronx record. And then when I looked it up, I was like, this is a fucking, like, holy shit. Like, people from the Distillers and Social Distortion and stuff, like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this is a super group, because listening to this album, I'm sure you had no idea it was a super group, because super groups don't usually sound like this, you know?
Yeah, this is a 26-minute long record.
And it being like, no particular instrument shines above another. No. You know, it doesn't sound like they got like certain members from certain groups to contribute. It just sounds like a band. It just sounds like a band that they just started, and this is like a new album they have, you know?
Yeah. I mean, these are like 3-chord punk songs written by a supergroup.
Yeah. it's you know, it's just kind of beautiful to me that a punk supergroup sounds nothing like a supergroup. And I kind of love that.
I kind of love it too. It's like they just, like, you can hear it at certain points in the record, even like at the end of the record, you can hear where they're just kind of, they're having a lot of fucking fun. And like the ending of the record is like right when the song ends, someone goes, yeah. And then the drums are just like, and you're just like, and it's just like, yeah. You can tell they're just like, they're having fun in the studio, man. And like, none of these songs have, if you want to say like, none of them are special, if you want to put it in that way. Like, it's not like one song really stands out from the others where they're like, whoa, like they spent a lot of time writing this one. It feels like a bunch of jams that are just top-notch punk, you know, a certain genre of punk music that it sounds like it was written in a weekend. And I fucking love it. Yeah. So clearly I loved this album.
So how did you stumble upon these guys?
I think it was another Spotify recommendation based off of another punk album. I think I was at the time I was dipping back into Bigwig, which I don't think you. I know I've told you about them, but I don't know if you were ever into them.
Their name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've heard any of their stuff.
They remind me. The Bronx reminds me a lot of Bigwig in the sense of like they can have a really pissed off aggressive song, like hardcore punk screaming the whole time, and then the very next song is like a pop punk, super catchy, like kind of almost love song. But then they'll mix the two also. Like in one song, they'll go back and forth. And I love that juxtaposition of having like a really hardcore punk song, but with like happy lyrics, and then vice versa. Have like a really happy pop punk song, but like dark lyrics. And
Right.
Bigwig does that really well. The Bronx does that really well. So I think I was dipping into Bigwig because I know that there was a moment last year where I was like, I listened to all three of their albums in the course of like a few days and forgot how much I love them. And then this came up as like a recommended, and I never heard of it. So I was like, oh, the Drips. I love the album cover. It's like, it looks like a dude in an island, like in, Dominican Republic or something, like holding a fucking massive lobster.
But there's
And
also an ice
like,
cream cone.
yeah. And also like weird
That's fun.
ice, like a sticker ice cream cone. It's great. It's a great album cover.
I think it gives off like beach vibes, right? Which is kind of this album kind of gives me like beach punk vibes for some reason, and it might just be that it's kind of hardcore, but the guitars aren't as distorted as I think they
Right.
would usually be in this kind of hardcore music.
It's not super minor, right? Like there's a lot of major stuff going on.
There's a lot of major songs.
Yeah.
And they actually reminded me of one of my favorite punk bands called Cloak Dagger.
I've never heard
But
of them.
those guys are on the opposite side of America, so I don't know how that happened.
Interesting. Yeah, that was one thing I liked a lot about the Bronx, and part of the reason, like you said, why I love this album too, is the Bronx feels like California punk music. Like punks that go to the beach every weekend, but still wear their Dickies and Converse to the
Still
beach.
wear their jean jackets and
Yeah, they have no shirt on, but they still have that denim vest with the fucking buttons all over it. Weird tan. But yeah, it is very beach punk. That's a perfect way to put it.
yeah, and yeah, it was a very, I think, very refreshing listen. Last episode we talked about Funeral Mariachi by Sun City Girls, and
Which is
the
weird
episode-
to say the least.
it was very odd. And the album before that was Pet Sounds. So
Which
kinda
was
getting-
shitty to say the least.
Easy.
I'm digging that grave, buddy.
Michael's, I can still see on our chat, it just says Michael is typing, and he's been doing that ever since the episode came out. So I'm very worried to see how that turns out. But this is for me at least, it's kind of a return to basics, because this is what I was like really into kind of in high school, when I kind of started off in the classic rock stuff, and as I got my own feet, as I figured out my own way, I got into more punk stuff, and so it seems like this album is like back home to me, like it's just stuff I'm very familiar with,
Because it sounds kind of old school, right?
Yeah, it sounds kind of old school, which it kind of is by now, being
pretty crazy. It came out in 2006.
15 years old by now.
Yeah, but it sounds like 90s punk. Like it sounds like mid 90s skate punk.
A bit, yeah. And it's also, it's not very complex. It's not gonna take you on a mind melding ride or anything, but it's nice to just like listen back to an album and just kind of hang out with it and just get in those vibes and not have to think too much about it, because this has been a very thought heavy year for me.
Yeah, for
So it's
sure.
nice to just kind of turn myself off and just like enjoy some music.
It's fun, right?
Yeah, I can imagine. I just like see the parties like by an empty swimming pool and skaters just like, riding up and
Fuck
down
yeah.
it and just like being mosh pits and stuff. And
Fuck
I want
yeah.
to be there. Like I want to be there so bad.
Yeah, man. That's kind of like, I'm going to be listening to a lot of this when we move to San Diego. Like, it's going to be so fucking awesome. Like it is very like fun punk music. It's party punk. For people that like punk, right? You can't put this on at a party if people are expecting to hear fucking Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, like it's punk, but I'm imagining some songs on the album now that like you can dance to,
Totally. You can bop and scat all over this fucking record if you want to.
You can mosh or you can dance to it, and that's a beautiful thing. Sometimes
some songs you can skank to.
You can skank to it.
You get to skank to fucking, what's that song? Where did I put it? Oh, fucking 16 Like that has a fucking cool ass like reggae-ish ska guitars to it. So does I know there's one other song on here that kind of like has a bit of like a ska type verses going on where it's like it's still distorted, but it's very dancey, man. Yeah, I think what's cool about this record too is like it sounds like old school punk to me, like the early days of like when skate punk started coming up, right? So like the early days of like Rancid and NoFX and even like Green Day, right? Like because there's catchiness in there too, or like early Green Day, and the same types of riffs, fucking 3-chord riffs, 4/4 timing. They're not trying to fucking confuse you. They're not trying to like show off any sort of like musical expertise. It's just like balls to the wall, fun punk music that like, but because of Matt's vocals, the singer, and like his screaming singing thing that he does, that he just like sings at the top of his fucking range, which I love also. Like they sound modern. Like it brings it to like the modern age of punk music, but it's so like raw and distorted that it sounds like 90s, like early and mid 90s stuff.
I mean, I would love for them to release a Drips 2, right? Like in 2021. I wonder what that would sound like.
I bet it would be awesome. Like, I bet they would write 12 more songs that sound exactly like all these. Like, and I mean, that's what I mean. Like, this sounds like a Bronx record. Every Bronx record, except the newest one. The new one was a little different, but everyone has sounded the same, and I love all of them. Like sounding the same and putting it in the best way possible. Like it's not repetitive. It doesn't get old. I think that's what it is. Right. Their shit doesn't get old to me, and this is just more of the same. And I really, really dug it.
Well, can I take this moment to confess something to you, Lucas?
Oh boy, yeah.
This is gonna be a tough one to hear.
You didn't like this record.
I like this record. I do not like the singer's voice. I timed that perfectly so you would choke on your drink. I love the emotion that he gives off, right? But just something about his voice, it's kind of, it's not grating, but it kind of wears on me, right? And even at the end of this 26-minute long album, which is very short, I kind of find myself getting a little tired of it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I feel kind of the same way about the Bronx, from what tracks I've listened to.
Well, yeah.
But, because it's the same singer and everything.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy this album. It wasn't like it wasn't so bad that I just like scoffed at every song or anything, but it was a bit of a like a
Wow. Well, do you think it has anything to do with like that his vocals are distorted?
I think it just might have to do, I don't know. Whenever I hear his vocals, like my throat kind of tenses up.
It sounds like he's blowing out his shit, dude.
Yeah. And that, like, that always kind of gets me. It irks me. Maybe it's just because I like singing, and I've made some songs where I sing, and
excuse me.
I'm in burn band, so I scream a lot, and like I just like understand the feeling too well. And I'm sure this guy has technique. Like I'm sure he's not actually damaging his vocal cords, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
And,
I've seen him live, and you can tell he's not straining
yeah.
at all. Yeah, and he calls everyone motherfuckers in between every song. Come on, you motherfuckers! I want to see you motherfuckers dance. I want to see you motherfuckers moshing. And I was just like, God damn, he's just like, that's the only word he uses live. Motherfuckers.
You gotta have a good word to stick to, man.
Gotta fall back on something, I guess. But that's a little disappointing, man, because
It sucks.
he is one of my vocal, and I know idols is probably not the word I'm looking for, but he is one of my inspirations for the vocals that I used in Mortalis.
Yeah.
Can you hear it now?
I can hear that for sure.
Yeah.
I like yours a lot better, if I'm being honest.
Well, thank you. I think I do sing, quote unquote, more than he does, right? Because his, like, Matt's whole thing is just like, he's at the top of his range, and he's not always singing notes, because he is kind of screaming. He's just kind of doing it at the top of his register, at the top of his level, but then he'll sing during the choruses, right? You want to give you everything you want. Ooh,
I think there was
ooh,
definitely like a good blend of kind of scream to a melody, I guess, just like singing. And that's what, like, I never in the album did I have to like stop, because if the entire album was just like, I'd probably have to like stop and like take a break. And
yeah,
and
yeah, no, I can get that.
I think unconsciously I might have my choice nugs might be the ones where he like sings the most.
Yeah, I mean, I think mine are too. Yeah, dude, there's something about his voice that I fucking love, and I think it's the combination of the way that he sings and the lyrics that he writes. Because, and I totally understand. Like, it's like, not everyone can listen to Against Me, right? But I love Laura Jane's vocals, always have. But she has some fucking guttural, rough vocals. I put it on one time around my sister, and she could not fucking handle it for more than a song.
Really?
And I was like, wow, yeah. I was like, I love her voice, and my sister's like, dude, I can't fucking take this. And so I get it. But yeah, he was a big inspiration for me on my vocals.
Speaking of lyrics, I could not find any lyrics for any of these songs anywhere on the internet, man.
Except for 16-16-6. There are no
except
lyrics
for that,
anywhere.
I assume maybe because that was like, I think that's the only music video they have is for
okay.
16-16-6, and maybe that's why it has some lyrics or something.
It was the single.
And I tried to listen to the lyrics, but I'm already really bad at like listening to lyrics specifically in songs, and like with the fuzziness and the distortion like didn't help. And but I was just like wondering how the lyrics stacked on this album, because I'm sure you were able to catch on to them much better than I was.
Yeah, no, that's another part of his inspiration on me is, or his influence on me are his lyrics, because I have always struggled with like keeping a theme in a song, because a lot of times I just like cool lines. I like interesting combinations of words, like when I think of a line and it has a combination, like the words that go in a certain order that to me, I've never heard in that order before, and it sounds cool. I'm just like, I don't even care if this has nothing to do with what I'm talking about in the line before it. This is a cool fucking line. And I've been shamed in the past of like not sticking to theme, that like, what is this song about?
Who shamed you?
I mean, maybe shame is, I'm so goddamn dramatic. Maybe, and I'm learning that the more that we record this podcast, I'm like, dude, everything is amazing. Everything is fucking like, I need to tone it down a little bit. But I have been asked a lot, like in the beginning of Mortalis, I remember being asked, what is this song about? What are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know. And I just like, I thought it was cool. I enjoy singing it. Like I thought that line was cool, you know? And there was several times where I was like, all right, I need to stick to theme. So like the house you built, I was like, let me stick to a theme here. Like overcome, let me stick to a theme here. But a lot of times it was just like, I just like cool lines. And that's what Matt does in the Bronx was he just writes cool fucking lines, just cool shit. And he'll talk about being on a beach, like riding a beach cruiser bike in the city. And then the next line he'll be talking about, you know, fucking doing drugs. And it has nothing to do with each other. And he'll just come up with cool imagery about being in a lowrider. And then the next thing will be something else. And so I think he did the same thing on this album where it's like the lyrics are almost nonsensical at times. Like they don't follow he's not telling you a story. He's not trying to paint a picture. He's not fucking reading you a poem. He's like, just like, I thought of this line and then I thought of this line and then I thought of that line. And I think it all sounds kind of cool together. And that was like my inspiration for our second album, Immortalis. I was like, I just want to write cool lines. That's all I'm going to try and do. And to me, it was like every song was a one-liner. And I think that's what Matt does. He writes one-liners and I really love it. Like as a fan of like comedy also, comedies, you know, stand-up comedy is so many one-liners.
Yeah.
And that's the same concept in stand-up comedy, right? It's like, what combination of words can I come up with that no one else has come up with that's funny? And to me, that's what the Bronx is, a weird extension of that, where it's just like, I'm going to write lyrics that no one else has written, but also I'm not trying to be a storyteller. I'm literally just trying to write cool lines.
Right.
That make me feel badass.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this album does to me. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I feel like you shouldn't, you know, this life's too short. You shouldn't feel constrained to do something like that. I think you should try it out, you know, and see if it works or not and see if you enjoy it or not. But if this guy knows his strengths, you know, and is just given these cool lines, you know, why stick to a theme, you know, if that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, I think boxing myself in is like, it's a great writing exercise, but it doesn't make me feel creatively free. So right. I'm like, I want the freedom to write whatever I want to write. And so I took that freedom in the songs that I wrote for our second album, and I had so much fun. Like I literally wrote most of those songs while I was taking a shit.
Oh, I don't know if I needed to hear that.
Well, I mean, that just tells you it's just like in the moment when I think of a cool line, then I think of the next 4 lines because I feel inspired by it. And the second verse might have nothing to do with the first.
And when you say second album, do you mean like Look Alive or
Death Rattle Valley?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your lyrics have always gone over my head as well.
Yeah.
But you know, they're there's stuff like Solo Cyborg and Nazareth that kind of hold a theme.
Stuck to theme a little bit there, yeah. But yeah, man, my lyrics, like I know don't make a lot of sense, and I kind of like that about it. And I like that about the Bronx, and I like that about this album. They're not trying to say anything, you know?
Yeah, it just kind of seems like they had fun with this record, man. Like, I don't know how these guys met up, but it might have just been a jam at someone's house, and they all just happened to be in the same place, and they just all friggin' jammed out together.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't think too much about it.
Yeah, I mean, let's like getting into choice nugs. One of my choice nugs was I'm Gone. I love that song. It sounds like a Bouncing Souls song to me, like musically, and I love the Bouncing Souls. And that's another band that is not for everyone because of the vocals. I think a lot of times his vocals are goofy as fuck, but he's great. Yeah, I think he even struggles with like not being flat fucking 95% of the time, but I can appreciate that also. I struggle with the same problem, but which is another reason why I sang the way I sang in our band, because it was hard to get flat when you're fucking just not really singing many notes. But yeah, I'm Gone. The guitar work is super fun. Like pop punk is probably not the word for it, but it's very catchy punk music. Like it sounds like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater song that you would have heard on like the first game.
Yes, extremely so. Yeah,
love it.
That's right
man.
on the money.
And it's very simple guitar work. It's 3 chords. Lyrics that don't really mean anything. And they even have like the classic punky that ooh, ah, ooh, ah, like some woes and some kind of singing along.
Even not understanding the lyrics or anything, I found myself just like unconsciously singing along my third time through on this song in particular.
Oh, nice.
Whoa, whoa, I'm gone.
Yeah, man, it's so catchy, right?
Yeah.
And it's the first song on the record that has like, at first I thought it was a bridge, but I think it's actually just a third verse that is just like played all muted. Because I don't think there's any bridges on this album. I hope this isn't weird, but I'm going to take off my pants because I'm hot. I have shorts on underneath.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're not going to see it anyway, but it's just fucking, every time we get into these fucking episodes, I'm always cold when we start, and I'm always fucking sweating by the end of it.
You got so much adrenaline talking about these songs, man.
It's so fucking
These
amped.
bands.
I think like the fucking meth takes like 20 minutes to kick in too. I get those meth sweats.
Yeah, I mean, we all get those, right? Like,
Yeah, dude.
I usually get the like the weed takes about 20 minutes for me to kick into, just because I have so much fat in my body, and the weed sweats is a big thing as well.
Dude, speaking of weed sweats, man, when I was playing fucking basketball 3 or 4 hours a day, my shirts would be brown by the time I was done. Because I was sweating out so much THC. Because that shit clings to your fat, you know? So like my breath would smell horrible, and I would fucking be like have brownish sweat.
But the good thing was, if you ran out of weed, you could just kind of bundle up the shirt and just kind of drip it in your mouth.
Yeah, I would do it like eye drops, just wring it out into my eyes.
Right, yeah.
The high only lasts about 10, 15 minutes, but I mean, it keeps you going.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, I'm gone.
I'm gone. Well, let's get through our narnugs. Let's see if we share any before we talk more.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I'm Gone is a clear like top 2 song on the record for me. And I love 16-16-6. It's my other favorite.
Man, it's so weird because my first couple times going through those albums, those were my choice nugs. But then I shifted to something else.
Oh, they've changed.
I went to MILK, Milk.
Yep.
And Fountains.
Oh,
right
man.
next to each other.
Yeah. Do you find? Yeah, they're right after the other. Do you find like when you find your choice nugs, or when you really like a song on an album, do you find that you like the next song a lot too? Like it's almost like you're at that. You're like, ooh, that one's fucking awesome, and you hear another one, and you're already at that like I'm loving this shit. So the next one is also one of your favorites. Does that ever happen?
I mean, I'm sure it does, man. I'm sure you just like get off a song, you're like, oh man, that was so good, I'm so hyped for this next one. Like no matter what it sounds like, it sounds better.
Yeah, I have found that with my album reviews, that anytime I have more than one choice nug, it's typically one right after the other.
But lately it happened with the last episode as well, with Funeral Mariachi, is that like I had choice nugs and then I completely switched them up like on further listens.
Yeah, I did. I changed one of my choice nugs while we were talking, because I was like listening to everything y'all were saying. I was listening to the record, and I'm just like, holy shit, I think I don't like this one anymore, and I like this other one. Like, yeah, it's but for me, I'm Gone in 16-16-6 were, I think those were my choice nugs the first time I listened to it. And then the second time around, I love all these songs, but those two just stand out to me a lot. I think Milk is one of yours. That one was like,
yeah,
super catchy. Like
it's super catchy.
It sounds like Say Anything or something, like in the beginning, or Saves the Day. Like the beginning of it is like a fucking emo song almost.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like it. It has like a kind of soaring chorus, you know?
Yeah, with vocals that I would think you would hate. Because he's like,
nope. But I love that kind of stuff, man. I love vocals like that.
Me too. Yeah.
But yeah, MILK. I mean, saying it's one of the shorter songs, like it's it doesn't even make 2 minutes. It's not the shortest song. But it just gets in, gets out. I was really thinking about Triplets, because I think that might be like the most hardcore, like most punk song on the record. And
Yeah, it
like,
is.
That's I really like the vibe of it. But I think it was on Milk and Fountains that just I really love the guitars.
Yeah.
The guitar work. I actually do like the vocals.
that lead guitar part's great, man. The
It almost
like
kind of
so
sounds
catchy.
It's almost like a pup lead to me.
Yeah. This sounds a lot like Pup, for sure. Like the drums too.
And also Fountains. Have you ever listened to Husker Du?
Man, I tell people I have, but I haven't.
to look cool.
Yeah, they're one of those bands, Husker Du, like you hear it all the time, and you're like, I guess I'm supposed to know who these guys are. So yeah, they're one of my favorites, dude.
Yeah. Can you do me a favor and like look up "Celebrated Summer" by Husker Du real quick?
Okay.
Like, listen to Fountains.
I'm listening to it right now, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It also kind of has a
Yeah,
yeah,
it's great, man.
kind
Yeah,
of
and
like a gang vocal thing happening, and you could just see it happening like in a mosh pit, and he's like in the pit, and like everyone's singing along, and I just love that, man.
it's so catchy. It's like how do you play what can come off as like a fucking Sum 41 pop punk song and still sound like aggressive? Like it's it's still fun and it's still catchy, and yeah, man, Fountain is a great song. And like Triplets and Fountain, to me, I was just like, how, like, this sounds like something that Sum 41 or Good Charlotte would write, but they could never write it this well, and they could never sound this cool doing it. Like, it sounds like a pop punk band's heaviest song on the record. And they're like, this is our hardcore song, but it's way better than they could ever do it. Like, Fountain is so catchy.
They just have this kind of swagger about them as well, man. They have this kind of charisma, I guess, that makes it a lot cooler than, like, you know, Blink 182 or Good Charlotte or whatever, like whoever else is writing this kind of music.
Yeah.
So do you have a Celebrated Summer up?
Yeah, I'm listening to it right now.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds old, man.
Yeah. I think it was 90s.
85.
85. Yeah. That tells you why it's kind of an influence to these other bands.
I can definitely hear Milk on this song.
And so I honestly thought Fountains might be like a tribute to Husker Du. Like kind of a tribute to this song in particular, just because like the intros are so similar. And like, I don't know, I feel like these guys would be influenced by Husker Du.
I mean, you think like Social Distortion was probably playing with them when Husker Du was coming out. Social Distortion's been around for a long time.
Have they been out since the 80s though?
Oh, I mean, I could be so wrong, but I think that they came out in the early 80s. Let me see.
Because I feel like Suicidal Tendencies was before Social Distortion. And that's the drummer.
Social Distortion's
the drummer of
first,
both those bands.
their first, yeah, the drummer is from Social Distortion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Suicidal Tendencies, I believe.
Okay.
If the Wikipedia is to be trusted.
Well, their first album was 1982.
Well, yeah. So I guess they could have been around.
Yeah, but they didn't come out with Story of My Life and Ring of Fire and Ball and Chain. That album came out in 1990. So I think it took them a while to fucking get their footing a little bit. But I can hear it. I can definitely hear the influence on Fountains.
Yeah, I mean, I bet they could have been tight, just could have been influencing each other and all that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that there's 80s and early 90s punk bands that the Bronx are emulating that I've never heard of. But yeah, I'm listening to Fountains right now. It is just super catchy, and it's funny because I feel like Milk and Fountains have the most kind of whininess in his vocals than any of the other songs.
Well, listening through, I thought it was like, it is a little whiny. It's a lot of singing, and he kind of uses the grit in the right places for me. Mm-hmm. It might just be that.
It's not just all like
the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which it's weird because that's like usually the stuff I really like. But something with this guy in particular, I don't know, some kind of anomaly, the way I was raised, where I was born, all came together for me to just not really like this guy's voice.
This ain't your mama's punk rock.
And so I'm listening to 16166 now.
Yeah, man, that was my, if not my first choice, Nug, definitely my second. I love it just as much as I'm Gone. I think 166 or 16166, I think it's considered the slowest song on the record.
Yeah, kind of the most, I don't know how to put it, not like ballady, but it kind of has the most.
It's mid-tempo.
It's mid-tempo. It has a lot of kind of like open chords that kind of have time to breathe.
Yeah, the drums I think are playing like less than 100 beats per minute, like compared to all the other songs. And it is.
I wouldn't call it like a slow song or like by any means, but it's probably on the record. It's probably the most, just like the kind of song that lets you kind of breathe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also their longest on the record.
Yeah, it's like a little under 4 minutes.
Yeah, by a bit.
All the other songs are like 2.5 or less. But I love the guitar and the vocals. The ban 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 ban. Yeah, like it's very like ska-ish, reggae-ish, but it's distorted. Have you ever heard of Madcap?
Madcap?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard of them.
This song reminds me so much of Madcap because Madcap's the only band that I've heard do this where they play reggae but it's distorted and the guy is like screaming. And so they'll go back and forth between reggae and dub and punk. But everything's distorted. So like this song sounds so much like a Madcap song to me. Like the ska reggae-ish guitars and even the drums are doing a little like kind of ska-ish, reggae-ish drums.
Kind of do.
Yeah, the vocals remind me a lot of Strike Anywhere, where he's kind of like he has a little bit. Strike Anywhere is another punk band I liked a lot back in the day. If you haven't heard them, but the vocals are very similar, where they're scratchy and scraggly, but he's singing and he does a lot of the "Watch You Die," like kind of like lets it trail off and gets kind of like gravelly. Like Strike Anywhere dude does that a lot. So to me, it's like two fucking punk bands that I was super into in high school came together and wrote this song, and I love it. And like the chorus is super catchy. Yeah, it's I tend to gravitate towards mid-tempo stuff too. So this is like, it's so fucking juicy. I love like where most of the other songs would have ended at like the 2.5 minute mark. They go back to another verse. And they do one more verse because they're like, this guitar riff's too fucking cool. Which
we gotta MILK this for all it's worth.
Yeah, and I think isn't this right before MLK? Oh, it's not there, but there's one song in between.
Nah, those are wasted time.
Yeah. Man, I really, really love this whole song. I love all the riffs on this record, but this one in particular, like bringing that reggae vibe into it and just like letting themselves do a mid-tempo thing. They almost have like guitar work in the background that sounds almost like The Cure or something like Duran Duran, like a post-punk guitar work, it's kind of like has like some chorus on it. Right. And it's just like like kind of just like plucking away at some strings while the rhythm is playing fucking distorted reggae. It's fucking it's great, man.
It's honestly something that I've kind of wanted to get into with Burn Ban is like a bit of a kind of a cleaner guitar, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe a little more of a, I don't know, like a little more of a chorusy thing, but also like still maintaining the attitude and, you know, the punk and stuff. But I've been too afraid to talk to Will about it.
He's like, so you want to sell out is what you're saying.
So basically you're not cool anymore.
Yeah, you're the man.
So the man is you, huh? Now,
You're a fucking plebe.
is what he would say.
Oh, so now I'm gonna write songs about you. Oh, okay. All right.
All right, okay.
I think y'all could pull off some cool, like, maybe once Will like isn't angry anymore, the older he gets, like he doesn't have that youthful angst that he's carrying around right now. I think I could see y'all doing like Gaslight anthem type stuff.
Man, we've always wanted to try to do more of a like ska punk thing, but none of us are geared for it, honestly. Like, I'm so bad at ska drums, maybe more than any other type of like drumming in any other genre. And like, he's always had a weakness for like upstrokes, you know?
Oh, wow. You know, it's so weird because like since I was in a ska band in high school, to me, I'm just like, ska's the easiest shit to play. But you don't think like, yeah, for some people, it doesn't come naturally, you know? And it didn't come naturally to me either. Like, we got better as we went, obviously. Or we didn't.
Ska and punk, oddly enough, seem to be kind of on the complete opposite sides of music. Because like with punk and how we did it, like it was all
it's on the downbeat
downstrokes for him.
Yeah, it's on the downbeat.
You know, only downstrokes.
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, blast beats with no, you know, real technique or precision at all.
But y'all are so good at it.
I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, it shows, man. Like y'all, your sound you have down.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to change it up, but we can always go back to that, just like,
you know, always dip into that well anytime you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what makes ska drums so hard? Is it just that how tight they have to be?
It's like it's tightness, and I've always been bad at doing cross stick, which is something that comes up in ska a little bit.
Cross stick.
It's that kind of like,
huh?
You know, like if I showed you what it was, you would recognize it. It's like you basically put your drumstick like flat on the snare.
Oh yeah.
You lift up the bottom and you try to hit the rim.
Rim shots, yeah.
You know? No. Not rim shots.
Rim jobs.
There we go.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, dude. I know how to do those.
I've always been bad with those, and just like there's a feeling in ska that like I just haven't played it enough, and I'm just like, I don't know. There's just a feel that I like have not done enough to get used to.
The drums are pretty important.
We've always wanted to do it.
The drums are pretty important in ska, and I feel like you do have to be really tight. But what you're talking about is like when you're playing the hi-hat like this, and then you have your other hand holding the drumstick flat on the drum, and you're hitting the rim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Those are hard.
It's hard to get to sound right.
That rhythm too.
You got to get it like, it's got to be in a certain place.
It's got to be angled, right? You got to be hitting it on a certain place of the stick against that rim to create that little space in between the drum and the rim, or the stick. I mean, yeah.
And it's eventually like, if I do enough hits, if I do it long enough, like I'll get to that like key cross stick sound. But if you're playing something like ska, you don't really have time to figure it out. You know?
Yeah, they use it a lot in reggae.
Just like know where it is and like nail it.
Yeah, you gotta use that a lot in reggae too. I like a lot of times when bands do that. A lot of like Pepper and those types of like Sublime wannabe bands, they do a lot of that where they hit the kick drum at the same time that they're doing that rim.
Oh yeah, that's a super reggae
yeah
deal.
I love that. Just that little like anytime a drummer does that in a reggae song, I'm already like, I'm in. You got me.
Dude, like I've known ever since I've known about reggae that that's like a common technique, and I can do it. It's not technically hard, but like if you hear me do it, you'll know that it's like unnatural for me. That I'm like not I'm completely outside of my comfort zone. You'll just like be able to hear it.
Well, one of my best friends, Chris, is going to be psyched to hear that you say ska drumming's hard, because he was great at it in high school. But it's literally, it was either that or reggae. Like that's almost all that we listened to, or that or punk. Sorry, like ska or punk. So that's all we played. That's all we listened to. Yeah,
Man, why didn't y'all let me in your band?
dude, we've tried bringing back our ska band or our punk band like so many different ways. We've
Really?
yeah, and honestly, that is probably, if I do anything musically moving forward, I'm going to be in a reggae band. I think that's what I'm going to enjoy the most. And I would love to be in a reggae cover band and convert songs that aren't reggae into reggae.
Oh, really? You know, I wish there was kind of like an album we could listen to kind of get you inspired.
You know,
To kind of get you a basis for that.
I'll try and think of one by the end of the episode. I'm sure
Yeah.
it exists.
Just let that simmer.
It's got to be out there somewhere. I doubt it's any good.
I mean, I don't
though.
think anyone's done it before, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you know, I feel like I think we've broken down this album. You know, like if anyone's interested in listening to it, by now they're going to listen to it. So, what would you rate this album? Knowing that maybe you don't like the vocals that much, but you know, it was short at least.
You know, through our talk, I'm giving it a higher rating, not much higher, but like I just listened to my favorite songs, and I'm like, ooh. But I'm gonna give this thing a 6.5, which is like, it's hard to get this across, but it is not a bad rating. Like that 6.5 means like I enjoyed the album. You know, it's not gonna be in my regular rotation or anything, but if I ever need to take like a breather, if I ever just need to like zone out and listen to something more aggressive, like this is probably the album I'll come back to.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I think a 6.5 I can understand is like, I enjoyed it. There's 2 or 3 songs I enjoyed a lot, and everything else I probably won't come back to. But I'm happy that you liked it, man. I'm happy that you dug it. I was not concerned at all, and especially not concerned about his vocals. So I was like really interested to hear that they're not your style, especially because I try and emulate him a lot in our music.
Oh, well, this might be a bad time, but I've never liked your vocals. They've always been trash.
I've been waiting for people to tell me that for years, and I feel like no one has been honest with me about my goddamn vocals since the start of Mortalis.
That's why I stuck that coronavirus in you like back in February to try to ruin you, you know?
Yeah, it worked. You kind of ruined the world.
Yeah.
You did you did a little too good of a job.
It was worth it.
Yeah, just to stop Mortalis from ever doing anything again. You're like, I'm gonna stop the world.
No, man, I love your vocals. Like, I love your vocals.
Like, say more.
I love your vocals.
Thank you.
Sorry, he's got a soundboard over there. I'm not saying that.
I recorded it. I got a clean take, so I'm gonna put it in every episode. Well, I love this album. I loved it when I listened to it last year and listened to it again. It's so fun. It's definitely one that I could put on like hanging out with friends. I think it's catchy enough that people that don't listen to punk but listen to rock could get into it. And I think it's punk enough that you know, hardcore punk heads could dig it too, especially considering who's in it. You know, like. I feel like that happens so often where you're just like, what the fuck is this? And you're just like, oh, fucking Dave Grohl's in it. You're like, huh? And all of a sudden I like it now. So I feel like if you find out that people from, you know, the Distillers and Social Distortion and stuff, like, I think that'll kind of sell you on it a little bit. So I'm going to give it.
Right.
I genuinely really love this record. I was listening to it at one point, even on really bad headphones, and I still enjoyed it. So I'm going to give this an 8.5.
Wow.
Really liked it.
That's a lot higher than I thought you'd give it, honestly.
Yeah, it's because of how much I love the Bronx, and to be honest, it sounds like a Bronx record, and it probably has a lot to do with Matt's vocals, but they must have had a lot to do with the songwriting also, because it all sounds like Bronx songs.
So Bronx, it's safe to assume Bronx records usually kind of get around the 8.5 to 9.5 range. For you?
Yes, I love all of their records except their latest one that came out, I think a year or two ago, and it was just because they kind of changed it up a little bit. So I only listened to it once, and I need to go back. But
give it another chance.
I got to give it another chance. You know, I've even had to do it with RX Bandits, where I'm just like, oh, this is too different, and then I go back and it becomes a favorite. But yeah, 8.5. Really love this album, and like I was saying too, if you like punk rock, check this out. If you like rock music in general, check this out. And if you like any of those bands that make up this band, check these guys out, because there's probably going to be something you really like. Yeah.
This is not like a good gateway album, but if you're like already in the genre, then you're going to like it.
Yeah. I think it would be hard to find someone who likes punk rock to not like this record. Unless you get a crust punk and they don't like anything. They're just nihilists.
So, Lucas, I want to bring this segment back. Dang it. What type of food is this album?
I'm way more prepared for it this time.
Yes.
And I almost said a lobster because of the cover. I know.
I think that's far too rich and
exactly
up class.
This album is, because it's gritty. It's probably not the best produced album. The songs are short, but there's no fat. It's balls to the wall the whole time. Like, this to me is like your favorite fast food burger. Like, it's not the highest quality, but it tastes so fucking good.
But you like it, dang it.
And I don't get tired of it. It tastes good every time I fucking listen to it. This is like, to me, like what my favorite burger is the Monterey Melt from Whataburger. Like, this is a Monterey Melt double cheeseburger with all the fixins and a fucking chocolate shake and a goddamn apple pie. And I eat all that in less time than this record.
I wish we could go to Sandy's and just like get a burger and some ice cream and just listen to this album, man. I feel like we'd vibe out.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, go to Barton Springs, like get Sandy's, get a burger and some frozen custard, and then go to Barton Springs and put on this record and fucking eat.
Oh, man.
That sounds so awesome. That's such a great idea, dude. I'm going to cry. I wish we could do that.
Me too.
Well, hey, bud.
We'll do it eventually.
In a month, I'm probably going to be totally vaccinated, and I'm not moving for another month and a half after that. So we will have time to hang out.
Well, I will probably not be vaccinated.
No, but the whole thing is, if I am, you're a little safer, and, it's everyone's comfort level. Obviously, some people have been acting like nothing's been going on, so I know I'll be able to see some people.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this album is a Monterey Melt from Whataburger. I love it. It's not the best quality, but I love it every time.
Making me hungry over here.
I know, right? I also haven't had fast food in a year, which is probably why I've lost so much weight.
It helps.
I was eating so bad.
Well, dang it, Lucas, have you thought of an album that is like reggae, but it's a cover of a different album? Have you got anything in your head there?
I had to do a lot of research.
I saw you typing away over there like a madman.
I scoured. It looked like that scene in Bruce Almighty when he's like typing all the responses to the prayers.
Drink the coffee.
Yeah. I lassoed the moon, and I found an album that, it's lesser known, but I think we might enjoy talking about it. It's an album by a band called Easy Star All Stars, and it's called Dub Side of the Moon. It is a dub reggae cover of Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And I cannot wait to hear what you say about it and what you think about it.
Well, I've listened to it once already.
Okay.
Uh, I am right now. I'm at a bit of a loss of how we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is our first time talking about an album, a cover album.
Yeah, which we kind of we had a little bit of a hesitation there, right?
Yeah,
We don't want to
but
open
I
the
think-
doors too much into something like this.
I think we creak it open a little. We see what's happening. I think even if it goes fantastically, we're not gonna do this often.
No,
You know.
I don't think we should. But you know, all joking aside, this is one of my favorite records of all time. And I can't wait to talk about it. I have a lot of personal connection to this record. And also it was recently the 20-year anniversary of its release.
Really?
Yeah. I think a month ago, like that recently. And I commented on the post on Instagram, and cause I'm kind of, I guess you could say friends with some of the people in the band. And, I commented saying, love this record. We're actually going to talk about it on my podcast soon. Can't wait to, can't wait to break it down. And
Can't wait to name drop and look cool and get some clout.
oh, dude, it's going to be a 2.5 hour ep of just names. And the CEO and the person that I'm probably closest with in the band, the CEO of the record label, commented and said, share that episode with us, and send me the link when you guys record it and I'll share it.
Oof.
So, hey,
All right, okay, so we got a little pressure.
you can have your own opinion and don't feel pressure but it's going to be maybe a widely listened to episode, which I'm excited about too.
Well, I'm excited to get into it, man.
Yeah. I know it's not for
And
everyone, but it's going to be great.
We'll see what happens. I did the Wikipedia on Easy Star All Stars, and they also did an OK Computer cover,
which is
something
fucking tastic.
that I can't wait to listen to as well.
That album was what got me to finally listen to Radiohead.
Really,
that OK Computer cover record is incredible. The guest stars on there are, I can't believe they got some of those people.
But next time we are talking about Dub Side of the Moon, baby. Dub Side of the Moon cover of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Which I hope you've heard of.
Well, here's the thing. Do we know that Pink Floyd did it first?
At this
Do we
point,
know that Pink Floyd isn't the cover album?
I can't find anything on the internet about it. So
Nobody knows.
no one knows. So
Maybe we'll figure it out in the next episode.
yeah, and that'll be a fun one, man. What did you think of this episode? What are you rating this one?
You know what? This one, I'm gonna. Gosh, well, what do you rank? A patty melt. Like what do you rank?
How do you rank perfection? How do you grade flawlessness?
I'm gonna give the snowstorm section of the podcast a 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did very well about complaining about that. I'm going to give the album section a 7. And I'm going to give the outro section a 7.5.
Ooh, you like
those
like
are
ending this.
I liked ending it a lot better than reviewing the album.
Really enjoying ending this episode.
What are your ratings, man? What do you
I think the talking about Snowvid 2021, I would give it
God.
a solid 9. It's something that I needed to get off my fucking chest, and there's still a lot to talk about there, a lot to unpack.
Oh boy. Yeah, if we talk about that in the next episode, do not be surprised.
Yeah, it's gonna be around in our heads for a while. Yeah, and I would take everything else, intro and outro and midtro. I would say a solid 8, man. I had a lot of fun talking about this record, despite how many times you disappointed me in your opinions. And speaking of that, before we let everyone go, if we have disappointed you in any of our opinions, leave us a comment on our Instagram at EBPcast. Leave us a comment on any of our fucking socials at Jean-Luc Guitard, at Brett Hanrahan. Find us on Instagram. That's really the only place we're at. Leave us comments. And if you leave us a comment, shitting on us or agreeing with us or roasting us just because you're our friend and you want to make fun of us, we will read your comment on an upcoming episode.
That's right.
We want to share your thoughts with everyone else. We will also be having more guests coming up in the next few episodes. So getting a lot more interaction, man. Let's get some of those comments, some of that hate rolling in. I want to feel the hate.
Or support. You know, I'd be fine with having some support.
I think roasting is more fun
that's
than
just
compliments, but whatever you want to leave us a comment, leave us a share, leave us a subscribe. And I think this is good, Brett.
I think this was good, Lucas. Till next time. See ya, buddies.
See ya, buddies.